Okay, we're good. We're live.
Good. Welcome, everybody. We're going to give you an update real quick on what's happening right now in Israel related to Hezbollah and the killing of Nasrallah and just all of the things that are going on. Joined by my son, Brent Evans, also Dr. Mark Hitchcock, and Brian Schrager. And we're going to be talking about this. And so, Brian, you're on the ground there in Israel. What time is it where you are right now?
It's 7:13 in the evening. Shabbat just went out about 10 minutes ago.
So what's the spirit and attitude right now in Israel?
A lot of celebration. I'm in a home that is observant, and so they've had their electronics turned off today, but still the word got out that Nasrallah had been killed. One thing that was interesting in this home where they don't have electronics turned on during Shabbat, last night during the Shabbat meal, my friend's phone began to ring, and why? And for the first time ever, he was getting a notice from Homefront Command to stay near a shelter. Now, that's because they placed him in Katzrein. He and his wife are often up in Katzrein. Anyway, we all wondered why. Why was this happening? That's never happened before. Well, this morning we found out why. Israel had just bombed the headquarters for Hezbollah in Beirut, and they were fully anticipating a big response. That big response came, but it came today. So it's been just really, really dramatic time here today.
Well, so Iran is rattling the sword now. Netanyahu gave a speech yesterday at the United Nations saying, if you strike us, we're going to strike you. Is there any sense that there's a pending strike coming from Iran?
Not right now. I mean, Ali Khamenei, the so-called supreme leader of Iran, issued a statement, never really talking directly about the assassination of Nasrallah, but he did say that everything Israel's there's going to be retribution, basically. But at the same time, and I find this rather funny, he went into hiding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Everything's fine. I'll see you later.
We're going to get you by for now. I'm going to go underground, and not that underground's going to help him too much. Psychologically, it's been very interesting to see what's happened as a result of the pagers exploding last week, I think it was, and then the walkie-talkies, and now this. In Iran, they also issued an order not to use pagers or cell phones or walkie-talkies. So across the Islamist world, this has had a really big psychological impact.
Right. Mark, what do you think about it? How big is the killing of Nasrallah?
Well, I don't think it's an overstatement, really, to say this may be the most consequential event since October 7th, at least as far as people's enemies go.
Yeah.
This is a watershed moment. These were 5,000-pound bunker busters, that were dropped there. From what I've read, it shook all of Beirut. The whole area was rocked by this. And, it's just as Brian just mentioned, Khamenei's been moved to a secure location. Sinwar, the head of Hamas, now has been relocated in Gaza. They're all basically on the run. But it's also been interesting to me, the response of the rest of the Islamic world. Turkey, of course, Erdogan, in his speech at the UN General Assembly, said that he compared Netanyahu to Hitler.
Yeah.
This took place, he said the Muslim world needs to show a more determined stance. So he's been trying to get the Muslim world united against Israel. He warned Israel that now they're in uncharted waters. He's urged the United Nations and others that a combined action is needed against Israel. One other thing that has not been mentioned that I've read too much about is an Iranian brigadier general was also killed in this attack at Hezbollah command headquarters, one of the brigadier generals of the Iranian Revolution Guard Corps. So it shows you how enmeshed they are together, that this leader was there. This has really set all of these leaders scurrying, because just a few days ago, they killed another, high-ranking Hezbollah official. So basically, if you look at the hierarchy of Hezbollah, I don't know that anyone in the top, hierarchy of the top 10 has even left. There could be one or two, but they've basically all been taken out. I think that the big issue to me now, though, is what will Iran do? And, Iran may respond in some way, but I'm not sure Iran has much of an appetite right now to get involved in this. That's just my take right now. I could be wrong about that. But I think they'll, again, probably do something to Israel through their surrogates. Yemen just fired a missile into Israel. It was intercepted. The Houthis down there. So, they're all going to be involved in this, but it's a consequential event that I think that it's going to reverberate really for some period of time. The consequences.
If I may, there is some news, and Mark, you mentioned some of it all day today. Hezbollah has been peppering Israel with rockets. And a couple of hours ago, as Mark mentioned, Yemen actually had a missile that was going over toward the central area of Israel, the Tel Aviv area, basically. And it was intercepted, but even in Jerusalem, we could hear the booms. We heard the interceptions. So the word, and a couple other items, the word out earlier today was that I think it's Nasrallah's cousin had taken his place and that he is even more radical than Nasrallah. At the same time, maybe 20 minutes ago, a report came out from Lebanese press that Israel has carried out another strike in the same neighborhood of Beirut. And this has just happened in probably the last 30 minutes. And according to Lebanese press, they felt it was another assassination attempt. So perhaps they're going after the heir apparent of Nasrallah. We don't know. We won't know for a little while.
So Brian, it seems as though that the Israeli intelligence, really everywhere, but it seems like they know when they go to the bathroom over there.
They really do. I mean, it's actually spectacular what they know. They must have someone inside. Yeah, that's all I can figure, or even several people inside that are giving them, incredibly timely, accurate intelligence.
Yeah.
They know when they're meeting. They knew, and Nasrallah's been hiding out for 30 years. He's been, in here, my friends in Israel, we called him Bunker Boy. He's not, he's not seen the sunlight in 20 years or more, right? Well, today that bunker did not protect him, or last night, it did not protect him. So, yeah.
Brent, anything you want to ask?
Intelligence is amazing.
Yeah, this is a big week coming up with Rosh Hashanah. I was going to say, we've had some issues over here in the United States with the hurricane, with some flooding. It just seems like there's a lot of activity around the world with natural disasters and also now with this Middle East unrest. So just coming into the feast next week, any words of wisdom for those out there that are trying to figure out what's happening in the world right now?
Well, I think one thing that I look at right now is that in this interim right now, kind of with our elections, with President Biden right now, seeing this a little bit of a lame duck, you wonder, though, if Iran is going to act, if they won't try to do something in this interim period. All the elections are kind of going on. So, I look at that. I don't think Iran has as much appetite maybe to do this directly, but again, through all their surrogates. But if they are going to act, they might see this kind of time right now as kind of an unstable time in the United States, a time when we're not as prepared to respond as a time to act. So I think we have to factor that into all of this as well.
It seems as though, Mark, you did a show a couple of weeks ago on Gog and Magog, the level of relationship between Turkey and Russia and Iran, which has coalesced in a major way in the last few years. And so one of the things that I wonder about is if Israel bombed Iran, either preemptively or in response to a strike from Iran. Netanyahu said yesterday in the United Nations, if you strike us, we're going to strike you back. And the long arm of Israel can reach anywhere in Iran, which is right. But if Israel bombed Iran, first of all, if they bombed Iran, it would be a significant bombing. It would not be like with Hezbollah, just a volley of rockets. They're not going to play games. Do you believe that could provoke more of a regional war, Mark?
Sure. I believe it could. I think Turkey would, Erdogan seems to just be kind of chomping at the bit to do something.
Right.
He's been ramping up his rhetoric all along. It certainly could bring them in. Of course, Syria, they've been embroiled in this civil war, but still, Iran is there. Russia's there to a smaller degree now. They could try to get involved with Assad, whatever help they could offer. Obviously, you have the Houthis. You've got all this, whole axis of resistance, all these proxies of Iran. But this is a massive blow to Iran because this is their crown jewel proxy, Hezbollah. Right. They're powerful by far. In fact, they have the most powerful of any group that's not a nation state. They have the most powerful weaponry and army in the world, Hezbollah does. So this is a massive blow to Iran, to their network. but also I think, as Brian mentioned, just their psychology, I think, as well. And so I think us, or Israel hitting Iran directly could cause them to have to respond back. Before, Iran kind of made a pretty good hit into Israel. Israel just kind of gave a pinprick back. Israel seems to be motivated right now to take pretty dramatic steps.
Right.
But they're on a war footing right now. They seem to just want to go all out and do whatever they've got to do and finish the job at this time.
Yeah, that part of the message, that's a big message right now going out here. Israel is ready to do whatever it takes. No more tit for tat.
Yeah.
No more playing around. They're ready to go all out. There's been talk here, at least in my circles today, of perhaps we should take out the imams in Iran, not necessarily targeting the nuclear program, but the leaders there, like we did with Hezbollah. And
I'm up in 3 minutes. I've got to go.
okay.
I'm sorry. I'm going to leave, guys, but y'all keep going.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Good to see you, Jimmy.
Keep going, guys. Brian, you're
Well, so anyway, if we did knock out the imams in Iran, there is a chance the government could crumble there, and that would be a good thing because a vast majority, perhaps most people in Iran, don't support the government. They're a very oppressed people. Israel does not regard Iranians as the enemy, but the Iranian government. So as far as Erdogan is concerned, his rhetoric has been absolutely atrocious. He seems to be making a bid to bring back the Ottoman Empire, but he doesn't. He's also a member of NATO. I can't see him actually attacking Israel, at least in the near term. The big threat for attacking Israel is from Iran, as we saw back on April 13, I think it was, when 300 missiles or so came in and exploded over the skies here, and none of them hit. I also think it's just really, really, really wonderful how God has provided a way for Israel to move ahead on this. I think every step of the way, from assassinating the number 2 guy in Hezbollah back in end of July, and then going forward, all of the events that have happened, it's been a very, very risky thing. Israel's taking a lot of risk here, and there's been careful planning, and I think because of the prayers of those who love Israel and support Israel, God has blessed those efforts, and he's given them success. We're not through it yet, but this is a very, very big day. Next up is, what will Iran do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it always seems like over there with Israel, with what's been going on since October 7th, the question is always what's next. And there's kind of things seem to kind of escalate. It's what's next. And I think we're at a major what's next moment here right now. And I think, Brent brought up earlier with Rosh Hashanah coming up, a lot of other events happening right now. It's just, there's a convergence of lots of things happening. Russia, they're the other key nation in this Gog-Magog coalition. They've got their hands full right now over there.
Yeah, they do.
They keep getting more and more weaponry, though, from Iran. They're very dependent on Iran. I didn't realize it this week. I just heard someone say that Russia's economy is like the state of Texas. I didn't realize that. They're not an economic powerhouse, so they need these other nations, and that's what's going to ultimately, I think, draw them into the Gog-Magog war. Is they're going to need these other nations, and they'll provide a lot of the weaponry and a lot of those things. But anyway, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? None of us know, but it's going to be something big. I think that's going to happen one way or another.
It seems like there's an absence of leadership too. You think about the world stage and who are the major players. I mean, America doesn't have a major player right now in the world in terms of leadership. China seems to have more of the oxygen in the room and some of those kinds of nations, but it seems to me like there's a perfect opportunity for a world leader to also kind of emerge during this time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, could be. This is not on that point, but going back to Rosh Hashanah, which begins here on Wednesday evening, there is a sense of there's a much needed sense of a psychological boost here, a spiritual boost too, because part of the prayers of Rosh Hashanah going into Yom Kippur are prayers, of course, repentance, and then, who's going to be written in the book of life, and who will die this year and who won't. And of course, that happened last year. Right after that happened, October 7, or about a week later, it happened. October 7 happened. And it created a crisis of faith with a lot of people here. And the big debate has been, as we approach October 7th, how do we honor that? We're not out of it yet. The hostages are not all back. Some of them are still being held in dungeons, and that is a hugely, hugely emotional, visceral issue for all Israelis here. And so what's happened today and the last 2 weeks, but leading up to the assassination of Nasrallah, is at least a boost and a good one. For the first time in a long time, Israelis here are smiling. There's a sense of this is, we've done something good. And we've gone from a sense of the state abandoned us a year ago. It wasn't there. The state just completely disappeared. It dropped the ball entirely. Now we're seeing Israel as it has been in the past in these incredible missions that it's been doing, and now its military efforts. So anyway, I would encourage everyone watching, please pray for Israelis right now. There's an opportunity for them to hear the voice of God, and they're open to hearing it.
Kind of circling back, Brent, on one thing too. I've not confirmed this from a lot of different places, but my understanding is with Nasrallah's assassination, with killing him, they tricked him because Netanyahu came to the United States in New York City, and he believed that they wouldn't do anything while Netanyahu was out of the country. My understanding is, Brian, you can speak into this, maybe this is not accurate, but that they believe Nasrallah was hit and struck while he was listening. He was listening.
Oh, wow.
Well, it was, yeah. I don't know the exact timeline. The press here is making it very clear that Netanyahu authorized the strike just before he went on the podium.
Okay.
And there are photos of him doing that. Now, how long it took from that order, that okay being given until it could be at the same time, I don't know.
But that, that's not a huge major point, but there's a kind of a poetic justice to that.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very dramatic. Yeah.
I'm kind of free to be in this command center a little more open than I would be. And he's listening to this, UN, which I thought was just a powerful speech that Netanyahu gave, sitting there listening to that powerful speech. And, if that happened, or even just, a few minutes after that, there's a powerful sense of poetic justice, of divine justice, really to that.
Oh, I don't have it on screen right now, too, but there's another interesting correlation between this week's Parsha, which is the Torah portion. All Jews go through the Torah, certain portions every week. And the Torah portion this week includes a passage that, in essence, I don't have it in front of me. I have a screenshot of it on my phone, but I can't get to it right now. It says something to the effect that the Lord, Hashem, is going to defeat Israel's enemies when they rise up against them. I mean, it was in the Parsha today. And so everyone going to synagogue, to shul today, they heard that in the reading of from God's word. And I think that's pretty cool.
Well, guys, I know your Saturdays are busy, and I appreciate y'all jumping on with, like my dad's speaking right now, I think in Minneapolis on stage at our marriage conference. So, we'll keep everyone updated as the news breaks, and I don't know if you'll have any other thoughts, but I think this was huge news. Wanted to get the team together to kind of give some analysis on it. Anything else before we close?
Thank you, Brent.
For doing it, Brent. We appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Okay. God bless everybody.
Bye.